The grand ballroom shimmered with elegance, the chandeliers casting a warm glow over the lavish affair. As I stood in my security uniform, I felt out of place among the sea of tuxedos and glamorous gowns. The bustling sound of laughter and clinking glasses surrounded me, but all I could feel was the weight of judgment in the air. It was supposed to be just another night shift at the charity gala, but something about this evening felt different, heavy with disdain. "Look at that guy!" I overheard a woman whisper to her friend, gesturing towards me. "He thinks those medals make him important." My skin prickled, and I adjusted the collar of my uniform, the medals on my chest glinting mockingly as if they too were in on the joke. It was infuriating. I had earned those medals. Each one represented hours of sacrifice, dedication, and challenges I faced head-on. Yet here I was, reduced to a mere security guard in their eyes. Suddenly, laughter erupted from a group nearby, and I glanced over just in time to see a particularly smug guest sneering at me. "What's he got?" "A couple of cheap imitations." His laughter cut through me like a blade, drawing more eyes towards my embarrassment. I felt my cheeks flush, a mix of fury and humiliation boiling within me. Did they have any ideas what I'd been through? That wasn't just a uniform. It was a testament to my commitment. Just as I was sinking deeper into my thoughts, I noticed an imposing figure cross the room. My commanding officer, Sergeant Harrison. His stern demeanor parted the crowd, and all chatter quieted as he approached me with purpose. My heart raced. This could go one of two ways. Would he reprimand me for getting too emotional? Or would he stand up for me, reveal my truth to these ignorant guests? When he finally stood in front of me, the room had fallen silent, and I could see confusion mixed with curiosity in the eyes around us. It was in that moment, with tension thick in the air, I realized how empowering it felt to have someone believe in me. I knew my story was about to unfold in ways I could never have imagined. But how would Sergeant Harrison defend me against their mockery? Before we dive into this surprising revelation, quick note for all of you following our stories. YouTube has been removing subscriptions lately, so check if you're still subscribed and give us your support with a like. Now, back to this crucial moment. Sergeant Harrison's eyes locked onto mine, a calm resolve radiating from his presence. "Listen up, everyone," he said, his voice steady but firm. The chatter around us faded further, all eyes drawn to the unexpected spectacle. "This man," he gestured toward me, "isn't just a security guard. He's a veteran, decorated for bravery and dedication to our country." I felt my heart leap, a mix of pride and disbelief washing over me. Did he really just call me a veteran? A wave of whispers rippled through the crowd, confusion mixing with curiosity. "What's he talking about?" I heard someone mutter. "He doesn't look like one." Ignoring their judgment, Sergeant Harrison continued. "Those medals you're so quick to mock, each one tells a story. They aren't trinkets. They represent sacrifices made, battles fought, and lives protected. You think it's easy to wear this uniform? It takes strength, resilience, and unyielding spirit." I stood taller, the weight of my uniform suddenly feeling lighter, the medals gleaming with newfound significance. The laughter that once echoed around me began to shift, turning into murmurs of awe and an uncomfortable realization. The arrogance of the arrogant guest melted into surprise, his face a mix of embarrassment and begrudging respect. "But this isn't just about medals," Sergeant Harrison pressed on, his expression unwavering. "It's about recognizing that behind every uniform is a story worth telling. Before you judge, remember you don't know who someone truly is." A fire ignited within me, fueled by Sergeant Harrison's words. Could it be that tonight was the turning point where I reclaimed my identity? As the crowd absorbed his message, curiosity sparked in me. What would happen next? Would they continue to look down on me, or had I just witnessed the power of respect shift in an instant? Stay tuned, as the unexpected happens in the next chapter, where I confront my past and the real battle for my identity begins. Don't forget to hit that like button and stay with us. The room was still as every pair of eyes locked onto me, curiosity swirling in the air like a fog. My heart raced as I absorbed Sergeant Harrison's words. A story worth telling, I thought, feeling the weight of my experiences rush back, piercing through the layer of humiliation I had felt moments ago. Suddenly, the smug guest from earlier, who had been laughing at my expense, shifted uncomfortably. "Yeah, right," he scoffed weakly, attempting to regain some sense of control. But the tone of the crowd had changed. No longer did they look down on me. Instead, they seemed to question their own judgments. For the first time, their fixed smiles wavered, revealing the thin sheen of discomfort. Sergeant Harrison, unfazed by the outburst, pointed directly at the mocker. "You have no idea what he's endured. You think those medals are just a costume accessory? They represent real sacrifices." The audience held their breath, my chest swelling with an unfamiliar mix of gratitude and defiance. "Let me tell you a story," he continued, drawing everyone closer. "This man served in combat zones that most of you will only see in movies. He faced threats I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. Every medal tells a tale of courage under fire, of choices made in the blink of an eye that saved lives." Was he really sharing my story like this? A beacon of light cutting through the shadows of doubt I had carried. As he spoke, memories floated back. The roar of gunfire, the smell of smoke, the faces of those who depended on me. It was not just about my past. It was about recognition, validation, and strength. I began to notice a shift in the whispers around me, a ripple of understanding breaking through the surface. "Wow, I had no idea," someone murmured, and I realized that Sergeant Harrison wasn't just defending me. He was igniting something in the crowd. Hope. What would happen as the audience began to reassess their perceptions? Would they see me for who I truly was? Or would the mockery return as quickly as it had fled? Stay tuned, as in the next chapter, I unleash the truth of my journey, paving the way for an unexpected confrontation that could change everything. If you're enjoying this story, give us a thumbs up and keep watching as the excitement unfolds. The atmosphere in the ballroom was electric, a newfound tension charged with realization hanging between us all. I stood there, watching as the crowd transformed from judgmental onlookers to rapt listeners, their expressions now a mix of awe and contemplation. For the first time, I felt almost weightless, free from the shame that had clung to me like a shadow. Sergeant Harrison took a step closer to me, the confidence radiating off him, grounding my swirling thoughts. "Now let's set the record straight," he said, drawing a deep breath before continuing. "This man doesn't just wear a uniform for show. He's fought in the trenches, faced adversity that would break most, and come out standing." Each word hung in the air like a carefully crafted promise, the kind that made you sit up and take notice. I glanced at the previously mocking guest, the one who had laughed at my medals. His smug smile had evaporated, replaced by something vulnerable and fearful. In that moment, I could see a flicker of doubt in his eyes. Was it guilt? Regret? Or perhaps a hint of understanding? Part of me wanted to confront him, to remind him how insignificant his disdain had been. But my focus shifted back to the gathering. They were no longer a wall of sneering faces, but a curious crowd ready to truly listen. And for once, it felt liberating. "Let me tell you about one of those medals," Sergeant Harrison continued, gesturing toward the bright ribbons pinned to my chest. "That one." He pointed to my silver star, its shine catching the light like a beacon. He earned that during a dire mission. It was a night like any other, filled with chaos and uncertainty. But when push came to shove, he didn't hesitate. He ran towards danger to save his team. He stood between them and death, fully aware of the risks. I watched their expressions shift. A mix of realization and respect washed over the crowd, and I could feel the fire igniting within me, urging me to reclaim my identity, to finally speak up. But as I opened my mouth, the words caught in my throat. What could I say that would convey the depth of my experience in that moment, my journey back from the battlefield to standing here now, in the midst of a gala? But I felt a nudge, an unspoken encouragement from Sergeant Harrison. "It's not just about the medals," he said, reminding us all of the core truth behind each sacrifice. "It's about camaraderie, trust, and unyielding spirit." His words hung in the air, a gentle reminder that gave me the courage I didn't know I needed. Just as the crowd began to respond with murmurs of acknowledgement, I turned to Sergeant Harrison, finding stalwart support in his eyes. Holding my breath, I finally found the courage to share my truth. "He's right," I said, my voice cutting through the silence, strangely stronger than I expected. "Those medals represent years of my life, years where I fought to protect not only my country, but the brothers and sisters beside me who deserve to come home." The whispers around us transformed as they absorbed my words, and I could see many in the crowd changing their demeanor toward me. Some bore expressions of regret for their previous judgments, while others looked genuinely intrigued, seeking to understand who I was beyond the uniform. I've been to places filled with darkness, witnessed moments that no one should have to endure, but those experiences shaped me. They helped me grow into the man I am today. As I spoke, I could feel the kinship forming in the room, a shared understanding weaving through our differences, and I reveled in that connection. Sergeant Harrison nodded in approval, his pride evident. "You see," he interjected, "everyone you meet has a story to tell, an experience that shapes their lives. It's not right to make assumptions based on appearance. Each of us carries a history, a battle, a triumph." The more he spoke, the more empowered I felt, as if my truth was finally breaking free from the chains of the past. I noticed the arrogant guest shifting uncomfortably, the crowd now surrounding us with questions rather than ridicule. They were leaning in, eager to learn more about the sacrifices made, the lives affected, and the journey I had traveled. "Let's not forget," I added, finding my voice amidst the collective quiet, "that what binds us is our humanity. Life is precious, and the bonds we form in adversity make us stronger, not just as individuals, but as a community. We're all in this together. We must lift each other instead of tearing down those in uniforms, behind desks, or within different paths of life." As I finished my statement, the room erupted into applause. The clapping grew louder, turning into cheers, a vibrant energy filling the air. With each clap, I felt the weight of years of doubt and condescension melting away. It was cathartic, an overwhelming release that washed over me like a cool wave after a scorching day. But just as I began to savor the moment, the atmosphere shifted considerably when the mocker from earlier took a step forward, visibly shaken. I didn't know," he stuttered, his bravado crumbling in the face of reality. "I didn't mean to. It was thoughtless. His voice trailed off, and I saw the other guests looking at him, a mix of forgiveness and disappointment in their eyes. I took a deep breath. "We all make mistakes," I said, the words flowing from me more smoothly than I had expected. "It's easy to forget that we're all human, but it's not too late to learn. Each story shared can bridge the gap of misunderstanding." In that precarious moment, Sergeant Harrison voiced the hidden sentiment in the room. "That's the point," he said, stepping forward and placing a firm hand on my shoulder. It's not about right or wrong. It's about growing together, learning from one another. Respect is earned through understanding. The energy shifted again, this time towards a collective realization, an awakening to the importance of connection, of shared experiences. Laughter and sunlight fought against the shadows of judgment, and in the back of my mind, I couldn't help but wonder how the rest of the night would unfold. I glanced around the room, facing a collection of faces no longer clouded by mockery, but lit by intrigue and empathy. They were invested in my story and the stories of others, the pieces of their lives guiding them to connect with someone they had previously dismissed. But little did I know, the night had more surprises in store for me. As I connected with Sergeant Harrison and received praise from those who had initially ridiculed me, a familiar figure stepped into the glow of the ballroom. Someone from my past, a ghost I had hoped not to confront. What was their purpose here? What would their arrival mean for my newfound sense of identity and acceptance? Stay with me as we uncover the last secrets of the night, shaping a conclusion that promises unexpected turns and a deeper understanding of both recognition and respect. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You won't want to miss how things unfold next. The applause echoed around me, vibrant and full of life, but I barely registered it as I spun around to face the person who had just walked in. There he was, Tim, my old friend from the unit. His presence shattered the momentary bliss that had enveloped me, turning my heart into a war-torn battlefield of emotions. Tim, is that really you? My voice trembled, confusion mingling with joy. The crowd faded to a distant hum, as all I could concentrate on was the man before me, still impeccably dressed but marred by the scars of the memories we shared. Yeah, it's me, he replied, a grin breaking through the weariness in his eyes. But there was something more, an edge to his expression that hinted at something unsaid. With the attention of the room directed toward us, I felt the need to bridge the gap. Everyone, this is Tim, an incredible friend from my days overseas. A few guests murmured words of acknowledgement, curiosity evident in their eyes as they shifted their focus to him. Nice to meet you all, he said, sticking a hand out to shake, but his gaze remained fixed on me. I saw you standing here and couldn't believe it. Had to come over before this place turned my heart to ice. Tim's voice was warm, but heavy with unspoken thoughts. The applause began to die down, but the buzz of the gala was still alive. I felt the crowd retreat into the background as we stood there, a moment wrapped in nostalgia and unresolved tension. After all, there were things left unsaid, conversations we'd never finished. Do you remember that last mission? Nah, I ventured, hoping to ease the tension, but Tim's smile faltered. He studied my eyes, as if weighing the depth of my acknowledgement, before glancing around the enthusiastic crowd. Sure do, he replied, his voice softer. But I didn't come to relive the past. I came because I heard you talking about your journey and the medals. You know it's not about that, right? It never was. A lump formed in my throat, memories swirling in a kaleidoscope of emotions. But they're a part of my story, Tim. They mean something. Hope flickered in me, silently pressing against the pain wrapped in my heart. They do. But don't forget, there's more to you than those medals. You've fought with honor, yes. But the greatest battles you wage now are against the judgments and assumptions of others. You've transformed that experience into something beautiful tonight, sharing your story. His eyes shimmered with sincerity. A wave of gratitude surged through me, carrying away the doubt and leaving behind a sense of empowerment. Here was a man who understood, really understood the weight we both carried. I needed to reclaim who I am, I confessed. You've done it. You're not just a guard in a tuxedo, and you never were. You're a reminder to all of us that strength exists outside of battlefields, even within these gala walls wrapped in satin and silk. Around us, I could sense the crowd slowly drawing closer, eager to hear more, to embrace our shared truth. They weren't just silent observers anymore. They were intrigued by the connection materializing between us. "Let me tell you something." Tim leaned in, the sincere gravity of his tone capturing my full attention. "The real bravery lies in how we rebuild ourselves, in how we share our experiences with the world. Don't let anyone else tell you differently." Inspired, I looked back to the gathering audience, the glimmer of understanding lighting their faces as they absorbed the exchange unfolding. "You're right, Tim. It's in the stories we tell that we find the strength to connect. Every medal, every struggle, everything. It shaped us into who we are, but it's the unity we forge now that will carry us forward." Seeing the transformation in the crowd, I felt a ripple of hope. I had earned their respect tonight, not just through my medals, but by finally standing tall and revealing the person I had always been beneath the weight of judgment. "Thank you all for being here to witness this," I declared, my voice swelling with renewed authenticity. "This moment is not just mine, it's ours. It's a reminder that we're all part of something bigger, stories intertwining in ways we can't always see. So share your stories too. Don't be afraid, because together we can turn silence into understanding." The applause rose again, louder than before, echoing with appreciation and newfound respect. It was a crescendo that felt like victory, not just for me, but for all who had been underestimated or misunderstood. As I stood side by side with Tim, it dawned on me that we had become roadmaps of resilience for others. In that moment, surrounded by faces that no longer wore judgment, but curiosity and camaraderie, I understood the true power of connection. I had earned my place, my respect, not through combat or combat medals, but through sharing our truths, the most important medals of all. If you've enjoyed this journey with me, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Your own stories matter, just like mine. Together, we can forge a community built on understanding, acceptance, and the strength we find in each other's experiences. Thank you for being a part of this unforgettable night.